Tēnā koutou katoa. We acknowledge the many families and the many voices that are represented here today. Earlier this morning, large numbers of Australians and New Zealanders gathered at dawn in our cities, homes and rural communities to commemorate those who served and are serving in the armed forces of our countries. ANZAC Day traces its origins to the ill-fated Gallipoli campaign of 1915. This terrible theatre of war resulted in heavy loss of life and suffering on both sides. Yet, in the midst of this nightmare, our young nations forged a sense of identity, shaping the way in which we view ourselves. ANZAC Day is not about glorifying war. It's a day to acknowledge and honour service, commitment and the best of values that underpin our two nations. We especially remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. And on ANZAC Day we reflect on and are grateful for the freedoms we enjoy today because of this sacrifice. And we'll see this later today when young Australians and New Zealanders gather en masse in Gallipoli for very moving commemorations. And as we assemble here in Hong Kong, it's important to remember that among the ANZAC troops that enlisted during the First World War were more than 200 Australians of Chinese heritage, and in New Zealand, some 50 ANZAC servicemen have been identified as being of Chinese descent. A trans-Tasman example is Alfred and David Argan. Their father, William Argan, hailed from Guangdong, and he anglicised his name. Alfred and David were born in Victoria, but enlisted in the New Zealand Expeditionary Force and served in the Auckland Mounted Rifles in Egypt and Palestine. After the war, Alfred and David returned to Melbourne, and Alfred founded the New Zealand sub-branch of the Returned Services League and was its president until 1935. In her ANZAC Day address this year, New Zealand's Governor-General Dame Cindy Kiro noted that the poppies we wear today symbolise past sacrifice. They also carry the sad knowledge that armed conflict continues to afflict the lives of too many people around the world. By continuing to work for the goals of peace and security for all, we can best honour all those who have served and who continue to serve our countries. Ka mau mahara tonu tātou kia rātou. We will remember them.
Therefore, rest in peace. There is no difference between the Johnnies and the Mehmets to us, where they lie side by side, here in this country of ours. You, the mothers, who sent their sons from faraway countries, wipe away your tears. Your sons are now lying in our bosom and are at peace. After having lost their lives on this land, they have become our sons as well. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk.
I now invite Mr. Gareth Williams, Consul General of Australia, to deliver the Son of ANZAC.
Sound the last post again, lest we forget. The freedom that we cherish has been bought, not found like mushrooms in the field. The debt is ours to pay. Mindful of those who fought and fell, yet still they held the torch aloft. May we remain zealous to withstand the traitors who would make our fibres soft, as well as enemies beyond the land. The trumpet has the power to move us still, and through the debris of a flood of years lies over hand and mind an aching thrill. Comes rising perilously close to tears, sound the last post to hold the memory bright. then sound the rouse to keep the torch alight.
I now invite members of the official party in their groups to lay wreaths. The Consuls General of New Zealand and Australia. The Consuls General of Turkey and Great Britain. The New Zealand and Australian Defence Forces representatives. The Royal British Legion, US Defence Forces, Hong Kong ex-servicemen. The New Zealand and Australian residents representatives. the New Zealand and Australian Chambers of Commerce. The Australian International School. I now invite members of the public who would like to lay wreaths. I now invite Consul General of New Zealand, Mr. Peter Lund, to deliver the Ode to Remembrance.
They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. lest we forget.
And now the universal prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. Let us dedicate ourselves to the work for peace in our homes, in our own countries, and among the nations, saying together a prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. Lord, make us instruments of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. And where there is injury, pardon. And where there is discord, union. And where there is doubt, faith. And where there is despair, hope. And where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. For thy mercy and thy truth's sake. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formal part of this commemoration service. For those who have made a booking for breakfast, the official gunfire breakfast at Ula, you can make your way there now. Unfortunately, it's all booked, so if you haven't got a booking, please don't turn up. There's also space at Dot Cod for another official ANZAC breakfast, which is just in the Princess Building, in the basement of the Princess Building. You're welcome to join us there. Members of the public are welcome to come up to the front to pay their respects. Nō reira, kāti ake e mihi ana ki a tātou ko hui mai nei i tēnei aka. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.